in right now's market, I think like in regards to sales fails, because this is relevant.
Yeah.
In my life and the way transactions are happening right now between buyers and sellers is I've never seen or even dealt with some sale fail situations when we have been in contract with buyers for, 2-3 weeks even.
Yeah.
I mean, that really does put a damper on my mood as a realtor because who likes a sale fail? It's really hard, especially when you fought on behalf of the buyer to get in contract or even been fighting for your seller to get in contract for a good deal in today's market.
And when it's like a good handful of sale fails all at the same time, that's pretty rare. I know you've always said like, I don't get sale fails. It's so rare. And it really is rare. Like it's not a very common thing where we get sale fails with our clients. I don't know what the reasoning is, but it just is not normally that big of a deal. What is the reasoning for your sale fails that have happened? Just like in short, you have to like go into detail because we don't.
Yeah, no, you guys don't need to know the.
We don't need to know all the details.
Here's the deal: it's like little things. Yeah. And in today's market, sales prices are so high, and so the way I look at like $4,000, $5,000, even $7,000 in this real estate transaction, I look at that over a $600,000-$700,000 transaction as pennies.
Yes.
I know that's not a penny. Obviously, that's a lot of money. That's a good, fair chunk amount of money for individuals. But when we're dealing with these high in sale amounts, it's like, really, buyer, you're going to walk over this $7,000 indifference. The only problem that I'm having is buyers are coming in, they're submitting a decent offer. Okay, a great offer for a seller, no closing costs, and then guess what? A sale fail happens because during an inspection period, maybe they're wanting to renegotiate a contract, and my seller is obviously saying, no, I'm not doing that. And they're blaming it on repairs, but to me, it was irrelevant, and it has been irrelevant because they just want to get a better deal because in the 3 weeks' time, maybe another home came on market that they're not feeling bad to terminate and go with the other home.
Okay, so that leads me to another really important thing. We are seeing more inventory now than we were previously. Do you think that has anything to do with any of this?
I think
like
it does.
More sale fails happening, like the buyers have more to choose from? Because I know there have been markets in the past where it's like you don't want to do a sale fail. Like the buyers want to basically just fight and do whatever they can to not have a sale fail, even if they have to be more flexible. Then they maybe want to be with the sellers because they know like, we're not going to find another home like this one.
Yeah,
there's just not inventory out there.
Well, I've always found it odd when I'm in contract with a buyer and then they keep sending me property addresses. Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, but not very often.
Like,
I don't. Yeah, no.
It's like, why are you sending me other property addresses while we're in contract and our inspections and or appraisal is the next day?
Right.
To me, I'm like, is your head in the game for the home you're actually wanting to purchase? Do you want to purchase this home?
Right.
It's kind of like giving me mixed signals here. But honestly, that's just due to inventory increases. And I really do think it's a situation that we haven't seen in quite some time. And as agents, we have to be patient with that and actually talk to our buyers because not every home is the same. Yeah. There's certain price brackets that are so competitive, it's unreal. So if you're working with a buyer like I am in this certain price bracket, if the home works for you, we got to submit an offer like ASAP, have decent terms, and try and get it under contract because I'm going against multiple offers still in this market, even though people are saying it's a buyer's market.
It's a strange market in that way because there are some price points where that is the case, where it's like crazy competitive and we're in bidding war situations. However, it is what I would consider either an even market or maybe even bending toward being a buyer's market where we're at least in Oregon, meaning that a lot of times it's in the buyer's favor. The buyers have more negotiating power than they once did. We're seeing sellers being willing to pay, for some or sometimes even all of the buyer's closing costs. Homes are sitting on market. So let's talk about that for a second. Like what are you seeing since you handle the listings right now in our business? Yeah. What are you seeing as the listing guy? Like what are you seeing as far as like days on market? Have they gone up? What do sellers need to know right now?
Yeah. And to stay on topic is like what you need to be doing to win today's market. Sellers, here's your trick. Seriously, don't overprice your home. Don't do it. And I know you're interviewing maybe 3-4 other agents. I deal with a lot of expired listings and for sale by owners. So I'm always interviewing. I'm always trying to promote and and say the best sales pitch in a sense, because that's my job. I have to win the listing, but I'm never coming in there and overvaluing a property. And you know what? Sometimes you lose on those listing appointments because I'm not undervaluing, but I'm actually giving real strategic pricing strategies that work. And I was reading an article this morning about if you're a seller, don't look at your sales price. Don't look at it. That is just a straight attachment to your property, okay? Because all the sellers want a high sales price, and that's their attachment to their property. They've done all this to the property. They've lived there 10 plus years. It's worth it because of what you put into it. So they get very, very attached to these high sales prices. Well, think about this. It's all about the ending sales price that you need to worry about as a seller, not where it starts. Because right now in this market, we can literally probably be doing an under evaluation. And if you're beating your neighbor around the corner, the buyer, I promise you, is going to be choosing the house that's cheaper. No matter what in this market, because guess what? Inventory's up. Okay. So there's another option usually for this buyer to choose from in our area, especially in particular price brackets and sides of town. I mean, inventory's going up. So that is why sellers, you need to understand this. Ask the questions. Well, why, Spencer? Why do you think, and you can't go off price per square foot anymore, to be honest. It's a very hard deal to go with.
Kind of out the window.
If you're doing townhouses, condos, great. We can continue on with price per square foot. If you're doing apartment living, great. But residential sales, it's really dependent on the area, zip codes, and then that neighborhood and the radius. Because at the end of the day, I mean, buyers are greedy right now. They are being greedy. They're submitting offers with closing costs being asked for. They're submitting offers under sales price. And if that's why you're not priced the way it should be, you're in a, I wouldn't say bad spot, because I get it a lot. Oh, I'm not motivated, or I can sit on this for months and it doesn't bother me, Spence. Okay, well, that makes me feel good representing you as a realtor. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to do my job and get the job done, meaning a sale. And I know if our pricing strategy is right, we're not only going to get 1, 2, 3 showings, we're going to get 10 plus showings in the first 2 weeks of it being listed. Your 14-day beginning listing period is so crucial to every listing. If you're not getting the activity, or if you're getting too much activity with no offers, we have an adjustment we got to make.
Yeah, no, starting high sounds really nice, but trust me, it is not the best way to get the most for your money. It actually really ends up hurting you, ends up having price reductions. The longer it sits, home buyers think that they can make low offers on the property and all of that.
I literally see it right now. I was in an interview and I lost this interview.
Because you didn't give them the highest price?
Basically, I was right there in the happy medium. She originally hired me. She said, yes, Spence, you're the job. You got it. I really liked how you're working. Great. A week later, she texts me out of the blue. Hey, we're actually going to go with somebody else. It happens. That home still to this day is on market. They've had 3 price reductions and the seller's throwing in closing costs in the descriptions.
Oh my goodness.
It just seems vulnerable and weak. If I'm representing a seller and I've seen this is the property's history, I'm a buyer. I'm going to go attack that home because to me that screams motivation. Maybe nothing to do with the agent. The seller maybe told the agent what to do and the agent was really commission hungry and wanted to get the listing. But the end of the day, as a realtor, you're only hurting yourself, and as a seller, you're only hurting yourself too. So that's why that balance of relationship between realtor and seller is very, very important.
It's true. I have 2 crucial things that sellers need to know, especially in this market. So the first one is, please do not go over updating your home thinking that you need to do all these things to get it ready for the market. Yes, it's competitive, so you need to have it sparkling clean as it can be, as decluttered as it can be. All of those free or very inexpensive things, like touch up your curb appeal, those type of things. But please don't go putting a bunch of money into your home, doing all these updates at the end of the day. If you replace the floors, for example, the buyers are probably going to want to change the floors anyway, and the value is just not going to be there. The cost of everything has gone up so much. It's just not worth it. And if an agent tells you that's what you need to do, I really disagree with them. And my next thing that sellers really, really need to know right now is, this just happened to you, I believe, recently, where, and I've seen this happen so many times over the years, where a seller, we get an offer. and it's not even like that bad of an offer usually, but the seller really wants to wait. Maybe it's a week on market and the seller wants to wait to get a better offer. And you guys, usually, like not just from our experience listing homes over the last like 10 years in the real estate industry, but also statistically, the first offer you get is the best offer. Like I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, but like that is just usually the way that it works. Yeah. It is very rare that if you end up keeping it on market longer, waiting around for another offer, like it's not gonna be better than that one that you got. Like obviously there's some instances where it's you list it and then someone sends like a super low offer out of nowhere. Like that's not what I'm talking about. But if it is an offer that is a good offer, it works, the numbers wise work, I would not leave it on market just to be greedy and like see how high you can get. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not how it works.
No, and you are correct about that. Absolutely. And those are real topics and discussions you have to have one-on-one with these clients of ours.
Okay, so I think it's time to wrap up today's episode, but I want to share.
I need to touch on buyers.
Yes, that's what I was saying. We're going to wrap up soon, but I want to
talk more about sellers.
I know. I expected us to talk more about buyers.
But I love buyers.
Me too. And I've been working, I mean, obviously since you handle our listings now and you still work with buyers as well, but I'm pretty much exclusively with buyers right now, especially a lot of like relocation buyers, people moving to our area, a lot of first-time buyers. By the way, if any of those are you and you want to work with us, feel free to reach out. We'd love to work with you and be your agents. Our email is in the description. But what is your advice for buyers in this market right now?
Price categories are everything. If you haven't been pre-approved, go get with your lending team, get a pre-approval so we know what area and price category you're within. I would say if you're in like that 550 to 650 category, that mid area right now, it sounds crazy to me, but in our area, that's like the not first time home buyer, but usually your second home. You know, you're usually upgrading. But I'm dealing with clients, those are their first homes. I mean, 460 to 500. But anyways, there is a price bracket in the category, and you have to understand the market. Right now in our area, if you're dealing with anything in the 400s, low 400s to 350s, if you can even find something for 350 that's livable, it's like a go market. Go, go, go is what I'm saying. Because if you find the home that checks off the boxes, it's going to be competitive. And you know what? If I'm in that category, I'm looking for a home that's been on market for quite some time now, meaning 45 day plus, and a good agent's going to just send you the lists of what's available for 45 days or more. Even our website, you can do an automatic property search and get automatic alerts that way. And then from there, it's up to your agent, I would say, and here's the big tip, is we book the showing, you like the home, agent, call the seller's agent and say, what's going on with the seller? Where's their motivation? And a lot of these deals are really made through those conversations, because before we even get the ball rolling, we can get more information than you would maybe think. And so I would really say the relationship between your agent and the go-getter is going to be very, very crucial for you if you're in that first-time home buyer category, which in our area, 350 to about 410. 550 to 650. I'm always going to be negotiating. I'm never going to buy at sales price, or at least submit an offer initially at sales price. And I'm always going to be including some type of closing costs in this market. And so if you understand the first time home buyers category versus like your second, maybe even third home, upgrading, different side of town, more square footage, that type of thing, you're going to be able to negotiate a little bit more. Now, the only downfall I would say is the buyer's agent's commission. Sellers are not willing nor to pay all of it, is what I'm saying. Okay, they're already paying for their seller's agent's commission, and the buyer's agent's commission, which this is all new to everybody within the last year, it's actually submitted with the offer that you're submitting, and the seller can decline that. They can send a counter offer, and honestly, a lot of sellers are being greedy right now. They're being greedy because they're not seeing full ask price, they're seeing closing costs, and they're trying to save themselves a dollar somewhere. And it's usually going to be your buyer's agent's commission. Yeah. Now, whether your buyer agent accepts that or says, hey, you need to give me an additional, $3,000, whatever gets to the agreement, that's between you and them. Yeah. But there's things that are good about this market and things that are bad. But the thing that I would say is crucial, here's the deal. Select the right agent. There's 3,200 agents here licensed in Oregon. There's so many agents that like I talk to, submit an offer on. Some people just bluntly just send an offer and never tell me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very odd, and not every agent's the same.
The high percent of agents at any given time, I don't know the statistic exactly, but like a high percentage has been licensed for less than like 3 years or something like that. Not that a new agent, obviously everyone was new at one point, can't do a great job, but who you work with as an agent matters. But I would say just as important, or maybe even more important, probably even more important, is your lender. You want to use the right lender. I have seen deals go sideways because of the lender not doing their job correctly. And I have seen deals be saved that should have honestly not been saved because of phenomenal lenders. And that is the only reason, like, we always send our buyers to, or, we give them a couple lender options, and we do not get any sort of kickback, incentive, leads, referral fee, nothing for that. We only get the satisfaction of knowing that our buyers are being taken care of. And that's the reason, like, when you work with us, you can work with whoever you want as a lender, but we are so like hyped on our lenders because we've just seen them do a great job. We use them ourselves, and like that is why we are their biggest advocates.
Yeah.
Because we know it makes such a big difference in the transaction. It just makes such a big difference who you use. So let us know if you want a lender, a recommendation, and if you are thinking about buying or selling, because this particular channel, podcast, wherever you're listening, if you're listening on YouTube and you want to listen on Spotify, link below, but wherever you're listening, this show is not just, we do have another channel that is Oregon specific, but this one is not just Oregon real estate specific. This is like real estate in general. So if you're listening to this and you are not in the state of Oregon, but you are thinking about buying or selling real estate, reach out to us. We have connections and conversations often with top agents all over the US and Canada and all different markets. And we would love to set you up with someone who will do a fantastic job for you, even if you're not local in our market. So
absolutely. I think on that one, we can end this one today.
Yeah. Well, subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already, you guys, and we'll see you next week.